Good morning.
Morning.
David Licata will give us our inspiration of the morning. Mr. Licata, please unmute yourself and
how's that? Thank you, Mr. President. There are few things more terrifying to most people than the idea of standing up in front of a crowd of people and delivering a speech. To prevent yourself from judgment and possible criticism from a group of men and women you may not even know seems to go against every instinct of self-preservation. One survey even recorded that people fear public speaking more than dying. If you only take one thing away from this meeting this morning, take the idea to be patient. Be patient with your brother and sister Toastmasters, because this is a workshop. We're helping each other become better communicators. But most of all, be patient with yourself. Amen.
And thank you very much, David. We will do our pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to our virtual Spring Open House 2021. It's good to see everybody. And I would like to welcome our guest this morning, Chris. Please unmute yourself and.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to have you along this morning. And ICK invited you. So
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And we like to welcome back one of our dear members and friends, Mike Florio. Welcome back, Mike.
Thanks, Eric. It's great to be back. It's nice to see everyone.
Loving the beard.
Thanks.
Are there any announcements from the floor before I turn things over to Ryan? Dues are due by next week. So make your payments to Sylvia through PayPal, check, or money. And with that, if there are any other announcements, I'll turn things over to our Toastmaster of the day, our VP of Membership, Mr. Ryan FLORE.
Thank you very much, Eric, and thank you, fellow Toastmasters. The theme of today's meeting for our open house is decisions, decisions. As we go through life every day, we make snap decisions, and then throughout those days, as we string them together, we realize that we've made more important decisions. And one of the decisions that we've all made at one point is that we're going to wake up between 5 and 6:55 in order to come onto this Zoom call to join in Lockport AM Toastmasters. As we go throughout the meeting today, I want to touch on different decisions that I've made throughout my life and how I've made those decisions to give everyone some ideas of how to maybe sort through those different opportunities that exist. But to start, I'd like to go through and start introducing some of our role holders so we can understand how Toastmasters works each day. The first role holder that I want to call on is Eric Schneider. And Eric Schneider is our word master today. And Eric's going to explain to you the importance of the word of the day and how he operates as word master. Eric.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests, once again. The word of the day, I will be telling who uses the word of the day throughout the entire meeting. And our word of the day with decisions is risk-taking. Today's word of the day is risk-taking. It's a noun. It's the action of taking risks. Decisions at this level involve some risk-taking. I will hear that throughout the meeting, plus in table topics. speeches, evaluations, and to anybody who uses the word of the day. And I will report when called upon to do so. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Eric. I think we can all agree that there is a level of risk-taking in public speaking. And as we learn and go throughout our time at Toastmasters, we refine our abilities and learn from others, both different perspectives, different ideas and methodologies. And of course, everyone has a slightly different way of speaking. Some of us, more than others, like to use filler words. And today, throughout the next time of the meeting, I am going to make sure that I minimize those, though I assume I'm going to be on the list. I'm going to let Marty Johnson explain his role as the master today. Marty, I see you're still connecting to audio. If you can hear me and respond, let me know. Otherwise, I will jump onto the next role and come back to you. Okay, we'll hold off for Marty for a little bit as he gets connected. I'm going to move on then to our grammarian, and our grammarian is just as, if not more so, important as we understand that the language we utilize helps the people listening to our speeches to better understand us. So Jackie Kenny, if you could please explain your role as grammarian today.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'll be looking for uplifting and colorful language, as well as egregious grammar errors that make my teeth hurt. And I'll give a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. As we continue to go throughout the meeting, different people will step up and fill different roles. Some of them are from an etiquette or a correctness side to make sure that we're all learning and improving in our lives as Toastmasters. Some are to give a little livelihood and lighten up the meeting and bring things together. And the next one, our quote master, Margot Sue Bittner, is going to provide us a quote for the day.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I actually have two quotes for you today, both on decision making. The first one is from Mark Twain, and Mark Twain said, "Good decisions come from experience. Experience comes from making bad decisions." And the other one is from Anonymous, our most frequent person that we quote. "When you have to make a hard decision, flip a coin." Why? Because when the coin is in the air, you suddenly know what you're hoping for. And that would be your definition of risk-taking in a way, Eric, correct? So, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Margot. I really like that. I think you always get that gut-wrenching feeling when you know, oh, I hope it doesn't land on tails. That's perfect. I see Marty has gotten connected. Marty is our master today. I am going to let Marty describe his role as master.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and most honored guests. As master this morning, I will be testing my listening skills for everyone that speaks from start to finish during the meeting and recording any ahs, ums, or pregnant pauses for the purpose of bringing to the attention of our members how awkward it does sound when we do speak, not only at our meeting, but outside of our meeting. I will be reporting at the end of the meeting on the use of ahs, ums, and filler words. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Marty. So I would like to go ahead and welcome a new guest that joined the room, Tony Wagner. Tony, welcome and thank you for stopping by this morning. As we go throughout the meeting, there's a lot of very well-structured speeches, evaluations, and then there's a little bit of impromptu. And so what we like to do is we like to liven it up a little bit here at the beginning of the meeting, and we bring in Larry Eggert this morning to give us a little bit of a laugh. So you don't have to listen to just my dry voice the entire meeting. Larry, take it away.
So I'm going to substitute my dry voice for your dry voice, Mr. Toastmaster. So you have a bit of risk taking involved, Mr. Toastmaster. You have a choice today. Decisions. So 2 short, Jess, or 1 a little bit longer. I'll let you make a decision.
2 zingers.
2 zingers. All right. A friend of mine and I were talking about a compromise in marriage. He said, in my marriage, my wife makes all the decisions, small decisions, and I make all the big decisions. We have yet to have any big decisions. The second quote, after waking up with a hangover every day for a month, I've decided to make a life-changing decision. I'm going to take 2 ibuprofen and drink lots of water before I go to bed. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Larry. There seem to be a lot of smaller decisions around the household here as well. I can relate with that. I think we can all relate with both of those. So one of the key aspects of Toastmasters is that after a certain period of time, you can lose your audience. You want to make sure that you have them focused and engaged for the duration of your speech. And in order to help refine that, Toastmasters utilizes the role of timer. This morning, our timer is Carol Ann. Carol Ann, if you could please describe your role for us.
Yes, in table topics and speakers and evaluations, I will be giving signals as to how much time you have. This is my green. Whoop. This is my yellow. And this is my red. And when you see the red, you are taking a risk of going over. So it's time to wrap it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol Ann. So as we continue throughout the meeting, one thing that I'd like to remind our speakers and our table topic participants of is that if you hover over Carol Ann Square on Zoom and click the 3 dots there that show up in blue, you can click the little word that says pin, and that will pin Carol Ann into your top row of speakers so you can keep an eye on the time throughout the meeting. Speaking of ideas on tech, I'm now going to introduce Len Thornton. He today is our tech and gesture master, and he will go over what his role is today.
Good morning, Ryan, fellow Toastmasters and our guests. Good tip, Ryan, on pinning the timers rolled. I will also be changing my background to different colors to amplify the timing signals for anybody giving a timed speech. My role as tech and gesture master is to watch the gestures of people in this new media we find ourselves embroiled in here. Are you centered in the frame? Are you looking away constantly? Are you walking out of the camera view? Things that distract us. Or are you using this technology to its fullest? I'll be making notes and give a report at the end of the meeting. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Len. I really appreciate it. One of the most important things from a speaker's perspective is how their audience comprehends the information that they're passing across. Today, we're going to get the opportunity to see how well we understood the meeting, as Stephen Smith is going to be our quiz master. Steve.
Thank you. I will be listening for any minor and important information that comes across at today's meeting, and I will be asking questions later. Pay attention.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Our next role is the big kahuna of the meeting. I might be Toastmaster of the day, but here I have no power. This morning, Phil Russell is our general evaluator for the meeting, and I'm going to let Phil explain what his role is.
Well, I really do appreciate you coming to the front and saying how important this job really is. as general evaluator, I will be evaluating our Toastmaster, and I will do this in such a manner to try to point out some things. Earlier, Ryan had a little bit of a problem because Marty wasn't in, but he did a great smooth transition by moving on to the next one and then coming back to Marty. That's the kind of evaluation we like. We like to have it so that we're helping people improve. So I will be evaluating our Toastmaster, the general, how the meeting's going. And most importantly, my job is to evaluate the evaluators. And when I'm done, no one can say anything else. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Phil. This morning, as part of Toastmasters, what I'd like to do is make a decision on who we're going to toast. And as I thought about this decision, I was debating between our speakers under the spotlight or our evaluators, trying to condense their typical 5 to 7 minute speeches into 2 to 3 minute summaries. And I decided that both of them deserve it. So this morning, I'd like to raise a toast to all of us brave souls, us risk-taking souls who have awoken so early in the morning to help each other improve. Cheers. Now I'd like to move into the impromptu portion of our meeting. Table topics is a great opportunity to get a little bit of experience here in our group. And this morning, our table topics master is Jill. I'm going to pass it over to Jill now to explain table topics and begin the session.
Good morning, Mr. Toastmaster and all of our fellow Toastmasters and guests this morning. In line with the theme of decisions, I've got some questions that I will pick on. I will choose 3 people who will impromptu answer my question in a very short speech. But first, I'll get a little bit of background. The weather's been nice the last few days. I don't know about anybody else, but Steve and I have been outside consistently, getting our garden going. He's been splitting wood and stacking all the wood that we harvested over the winter. And also I've planted the first crop of vegetables. First off, I would like a little participation from everybody. Raise your hands if you have been gardening or if you do gardening around your home. Yeah, a few. Okay. Then for my first question, I will choose Dr. Gerald Stevens. Yes, you. Tell us about an outside chore that you like, but you don't like doing, but you really appreciate it when it's done, something like childbirth is. There you go.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Chores that I do not like to do outside. Well, I'll start with the positive first. I do some gardening, certainly, every year. I do like the springtime especially because we have tons of flowers that pop up. This year I'm actually taking a picture of every single flower that pops up, and then I'll put together a little collage of them all, and maybe even identify them all, because over the years there's a bunch of them there that I don't even know who they are or what they are. I might have to ask Jill a question or two via email, maybe she can assist me with that. So that's the positive. What do I not like to do? I would say the first day that I have to do it all is probably the day I dislike the most, because there's so much to do. Decorating the garden, as I call it. That means I have to put our statues out, I have to put our columns out, I have to break everything out that the shed is stuffed full, and then put it all over the yard and probably walk about 20,000 steps that day, I would say, back and forth all over the place. So that is not a lot of fun. But in the end, as Jill said, it does look very nice. This year, I got some solar flowers already at Walmart, believe it or not. They are glass and they look pretty nice at night. Usually all my solar items do not work. For some reason, they get ruined all the time. And there is absolutely no risk taking when I'm decorating this garden. But I do overall enjoy it and love the finished products. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Dr. Gerald. That was very interesting because I don't like taking all the statues out either. All of ours are in our basement, so it's a matter of going up and down the steps over and over again. But I won't be doing ours until a little bit later. That's when I think about forgetting them. When the statute of limitations is up, as Steve says. Yes, that's good. Okay, Larry McKenzie. What are you going to do different this year that you didn't from last year? Take it away, Larry.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. What am I going to do different this year that I did last year? Well, hopefully I might go back to work. Who knows? Since last year, let me see, March 7th was the last day that I did an event. And so it's been a roller coaster for the last, 13 months almost. Last year, I did get a lot of things done on my honey-do list, I guess is the best way of saying it. I did, I think, 23 years of honey-do lists in a matter of 6 months throughout the house. I redid quite a few things, and I think a lot of you were on the journey with me through my back deck, my patio, my backyard, my front porch. And I really got tired from that. So tired that I wasn't able to go golfing with my good friend, Mr. Licata, last summer. And it's probably a good thing because I understand that he's probably lost 2 or 3 golf clubs throughout the course. No, you didn't lose. Dave's shaking his head. He didn't lose a golf club at all. But that is something that I will be doing different this year. I will be hitting the links on Wednesdays with the gentleman from Dover as they attempt to make it through 9 holes without using a curse word or without losing a golf club. So it looks like it's going to be a fun summer for me as a return to one of my most favorite things in life, riding in a golf cart with Dave Licata every Wednesday. Madam Table Topics.
Thank you, Larry. I'm surprised you didn't mention all the golf balls that get lost. I'm assuming quite a few.
That's a whole other speech.
Golf balls get lost than golf clubs. Mrs. Catherine Orr. How are you deciding what to plant in your garden this year? I know you are very new to your gardening area, so take it away.
I'll let Mr. Orr do all of it if I can. Can I actually call on our returning guest, Mike Florio, and he can take my spot? Mike, you're looking great. I'm sure you're ready for this. Be sure to use the word of the day, risk taking. And Carol can decide whether she's starting with my talking or your talking. Mike, hey, you're up.
Katie, how are you? What?
Thanks for coming.
Wow, this is a risk-taking moment for me right now. Do you like that? I got it out of the way real quick. Jill, can you repeat the question?
How are you deciding what to plant in your garden this year? And is it going to be different from last year?
Last year, for the first time, I tried wicking buckets, and I don't know if anyone here is familiar with wicking buckets. So this year, for sure, I'll be planting tomatoes in my wicking buckets. And a wicking bucket is a 5-gallon bucket where you put dirt in, and there's a little space for air, and you put a pipe in, and you pour the water down in and it wicks up the water. And I, looking for something to do and being a not really great gardener, I figured this would be an easy way for me to get started. So we took 5 buckets last year and we decided we were going to try tomatoes and what else did we try? Here's my first one. We tried peppers. So it was a lot of fun. And I think I'm going to do it again this year and maybe give them away as some gifts to people, because I thought it was a great way to introduce myself into gardening and learn more about the process of wicking buckets. And then while I'm at it, I bought a tractor last year. So that was a big risk take for me. And I decided, well, I have some property that I wanted to clear out, and hopefully I have a tiller with it that I might be able to, put together even a larger garden. So I'm looking forward to this year. I'm taking some risks with the tractor for sure, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm already cleared out a lot of land with my tractor because it's been pretty dry. And I'm looking forward to the year. So, and I'm also looking forward to coming back here. So I miss everybody.